for you, but we had a little bit of a surprise guest. And when we talked to her earlier today, and I was like, oh, she wanted to kind of cross over with your time because she's I don't want to say fan. That's the wrong word. She's probably not going to like that, but she likes you a lot. She likes you a lot. So I'm going to bring her in. And I know it's going to go 5 wide. It's a lot here, but, it's what we do here at Fight the Match. All right. So here's our special surprise guest from.
Woo!
Hey, girl.
What's up, Karisa? How are you?
If this does not just glow of girl power right now, I am loving this.
We should get the frick out of here.
Yeah, so.
She stole my necklace as well at one point.
You wore the
Did you get a picture with it?
She did. She tagged me in a video.
Can you vouch for like the heaviness of it?
It's so heavy, and I actually wore it up on stage because I had to do this Celsius essential energy hit to try to hype up the crowd. So I was like, oh, let me put on Dakota's necklace. And between having that with my mic wire and my IFB wire, it was like choking me from behind. And I'm like, let's raise the roof. I'm like, I'm going to need a chiropractor.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. Karisa, we cannot wait to talk to you for 10, 15 minutes. Last thing with Dakota, and then we'll kind of let Dakota leave. Appreciate you. Appreciate your time like always. I know you were fighting kind of two fights afterwards, and we talked to you after the fight, but I didn't really kind of get it. Did you actually watch or see all of Carmouche and Santos's fight? And if you did, or have you watched it back, what did you think of Santos's performance? What did you kind of take of that fight?
Yeah, I didn't watch a lot of it, to be honest. I was trying to get warm, but my coach and my brother were sat watching it. And from what I saw, it was just like a lot of wrestling and stuff, a little bit boring. I could hear the crowd booing at one point from my changing room. So, and I know I made a comment about like jiu-jitsu is boring, which I was like, oh, God damn it. Why did I say that? Because I love jiu-jitsu, but it isn't what the crowd want to see. So hopefully we can put on a good show, maybe stand up with Talia. We'll see. I'm sure she'll want to take it to the floor when she gets it, like everyone else.
And where's that fight again, Dakota?
It's not been announced yet, so I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Dave is just trying to get everybody to give.
Dude, I'm a journalist today, Miss L. Dawson.
No, you're a pot stirrer. That's what you are.
Dakota's the best. We absolutely adore Dakota Ditcheva here in Fight Bananas Land. We appreciated you all week, all the content, and I'm just so happy of your continued success.
Thank you so much, guys. It was lovely to share the week with you as well.
Oh, it's good to see you,
you
Dakota.
go.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. See you later.
Bye.
See you next week.
Bye.
I love it.
There we go.
I love
Dakota
it.
Ditcheva. What a star, dude. She is.
Next week, Karisa, you'll be at PFL Hollywood?
Yep.
Of course. I'm part of the traveling circus. I go where PFL goes.
Yeah. Well,
Let's go.
so me and Elle will be there on Wednesday. I'll be there for media day. And then Thursday and Friday. Thursday, I'm a maybe. The fight night, I won't be there. I have a son requirement. We have a wrestling match to go to in Orlando.
Oh, very
Florida.
important.
Dude,
Very important.
Dylan is like so excited for it. So that's that. But Elle will be there. Elle is better than me anyway. So you'll have a ton of fun. There you go.
I'm looking forward to it. Miami is basically like home to me. So I'm excited for this one.
Let's go.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
You're a
Why do
South
you say
Florida
that?
girl.
Is it home? Like where do you live or reside or?
So I live in Charlotte, but
Okay.
I kind of grew up in Florida. My dad grew up in Florida. Half my family lives in Florida. I used to live in Aventura for a while when I worked for the
Nice.
Dolphins. So
Nice.
going back always kind of feels like home. And of course, I get to spend a lot of time at ATT in Killcliff. So I've been there a few times this year already, and my bags are already packed. I'm
Oh,
pretty
that's
excited.
awesome.
Can I show you a super cool video before we keep on going on this interview? Something I found an old school Karisa Maxwell video. Are you ready for this?
Oh,
don't know.
snap.
Are you ready? This is amazing. I watched it 9 times. It's so good. You ready?
I'm so
Your
scared.
TV's ready, and let the madness begin. No.
That's awesome.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Did that really go in?
So, okay, there's a little
That's
bit of
the
magic with this.
Okay. All right.
We tried to do that. That was like my goal. I'm like, I'm going to get it behind the back because I'm not athletic at all, but in this moment I will be. I couldn't get it in. We tried like 15 times. It was just so bad. So then the one time I did it, my whole camera crew, they were like, oh my God, you got it in. And I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? And so that reaction was completely genuine. I truly thought I got it in. And then they rolled back the tape, and it was such a bad air ball. The ball was not even in frame.
Oh, geez.
But because they tricked me to thinking that it happened, they did some movie magic and edited it to make it look, we just ran with it. But it's so funny because that is probably like people who've been following me for years, that video is probably what I'm most known for. Like I still feel being like, you're the girl who made it behind your back. I'm like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
I mean, we believed it.
Yeah, it's convincing. I was convinced.
If you could, can you put a bow on what we just saw this past weekend? PFL Nashville, I thought was phenomenal. The arena was great. The electricity was great. Other than the Caroline song to Taylor Swift, maybe a tad mix-up, Miss Karisa. I know it's not on you. I've had The Wire in my ear multiple times. I'll tell you a Nate Diaz story later off air if you want. So I understand, but like I thought PFL Nashville was a major success.
PFL Nashville was awesome, and the Taylor Swift thing was a whole thing. Long story short, Andy Shepard, of course, was not able to be the cage announcer for that fight. So last minute, we had to move some stuff around. I took on a lot of his responsibilities. Michael C. Williams stepped in to be the cage announcer. So literally, 2 hours before I need a report for makeup, I'm being told that I am essentially Andrea Shepard for the night. And I have to, do all of this stuff. So, and we always do Sweet Caroline, always. And they even said that. They're like, we're going to do Sweet Caroline. So get everybody singing. I'm like, cool, good deal. So I go up there, as you saw, I say, okay, let's all sing along to Sweet Caroline. And Taylor Swift starts playing. I'm like, well, this is awkward.
Geez.
And then in my ear, my producer's like, oh, I forgot to tell you, we're going to go with Taylor Swift since it's Nashville. And in my mind, I'm like, with an MMA crowd? Really? Like, okay.
Yeah.
Right, we're in our Taylor Swift era. I think I am the first announcer in the history of PFL to get booed that audibly.
It wasn't you, Karisa. It wasn't you. I think they were booing
Taylor. They were booing Taylor.
Yeah.
For sure.
They were hyped up for Sweet Caroline, and it wasn't on you.
They were. So it was an awkward save, but yeah, definitely a highlight of the night. But overall, Nashville was great. I mean, the fights, they were what they expected to be. And at the end of the day, I think the 4 fighters going to the finals are kind of who we could have bet on going from the very beginning, as far as, the talent that they showcased very early on in the season. That Tyla Dakota fight is going to be a real banger. I get made fun of when I say that, because I say that a lot, but it's banger alert for that fight. And I was listening to the show earlier, and Tyla's already starting to chirp. And I commented to Dakota after her fight. I'm like, you thought it was just Jenna, but we're already starting to, see some beef between you two. I sat next to Tyla during Dakota and Jenna's fight, and she's quietly sitting there and she's chanting, Jenna, Jenna, Jenna. She was cheering. She wanted that rematch.
She doesn't want to have to deal with Dakota.
You know who else was sitting over there was Dakota's family. So I got to hear that story too.
Yeah.
Karisa, can I ask you, like, and if you don't have to say anything, of course, off air, and we get this stuff, and there's magical stuff happens behind the scenes for sure, but like, why is and I'm just gonna be blunt about it. Elle and Dakota are friends. They train, American Top Team, all that stuff. And every time I've seen Dakota, talk to Dakota, she's amazing. She is so nice, so personable, so like all of that, what you want as a high level fighter. Like, why do the girls in the PFL not like her? Like, why do other fighters? Is it just jealousy? Is it just she's the challenge? Is she just that thing? Like, why?
I think it's all the above. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, she's the golden child. It's no secret. She won the PFL Europe champion in 2023. So she comes in as a PFL champion already. There's a lot of expectation on her. She's young. She's gorgeous. She's great at marketing herself. She's very active on social media, and she is genuinely that nice. I mean, I speak kind of on behalf of all the PFL fighters when I am surprised at how genuinely nice and friendly they all are for punching each other in the face for a living. They're all so nice. And Dakota has always just been a total joy to be around. I've spent so much time with her on different shoots. And I really think it's a mixture of the jealousy, it's attention. I did speak a little bit about that with Jenna, leading up to their fight, how, Jenna kind of felt ignored, but in a sense, you're coming in and you're comparing yourself to the next generation of young talent coming in that already has a championship under their belt. So At the end of the day, just like anything else, it's a business. We're going to promote the fighters who are really good at promoting themselves, who want to be put out there and who have the record and the talent, and not saying the other women on the card don't, because they absolutely do, but you can't fault the PFL for capitalizing on that and pushing Dakota.
Yeah,
for sure. Chris just did this. Can I tell this story real quick? 30 seconds.
Please.
Okay.
No.
They're the best. Maddie knows the best. So the wire in the ear, we talk about all the time. Maddie does it all the time. It's a thing. Like people who has never done it, you can't explain. Like you think it's
if you don't know how to multitask, good luck.
Yeah, it's very multitasking in your head. And for this, I just did the Game Bread Nate Diaz thing. It was an open workout in Anaheim like 3 weeks ago. And for me, it was like a whole total new crew too. Like when you kind of get, you are, I would assume, Chris, like you have your own people at PFL, and it's awesome when you kind of get that decor, right? So I had like a new crew, and I had not one, not two, but I had 3 different people in my ear. I had like a back of the house, front of the house, and a producer, which on camera. So I had 3 different people in my ear. Long story short, they said, I got a live crowd in front of me. They're like, yes, Nate Diaz just arrived. So go pump up the crowd, say Nate Diaz is here, say something funny and smart. My hair looked amazing that night. I'm like, this is easy. I got it. So I do my thing, literally do my spiel. 2 minutes, like a minute, I walk around. The guy's in my ear. He's like, hey, that wasn't Nate Diaz, by the way. It was his car. It was his boys was in his car. Nate Diaz says he's 30 minutes around. Keep everyone going for 30 minutes. I'm like, no, like you can't keep a live crowd for 30 minutes. I'm not like, David Chappelle.
Especially a Nate Diaz live crowd.
So
yeah,
they had like a video to show the audience, like a hype video of the pay-per-view, but it was just like people don't get the ear thing. Like it's not a task, but it's a skill. It's a skill to get.
It's an absolute skill. Yeah.
It's really hard, especially like I have our in-venue producers talking to me about, okay, we've got this, 2.5 minute commercial break. So we're going to play this video. We need you to throw to this. Okay, cool. But then when we're not on commercial break, I can hear the truck in my ear as well. And I can hear Randy and Sean and Dan and Tyron and, all of the broadcasters going live on ESPN, but I'm being told, okay, Karisa, we're going to commercial in 15. We're throwing to you, lights on Karisa in 5, as they're still talking. And I'm sitting there and I wish I had a camera on me at all times just to get my facial expressions, because you can see me thinking and I'm like, it's a paranoid all the time.
I would love to hear Karisa. Oh, do you want to add to that, Dave?
I was going to say really quickly. So Fight Bananas in Hollywood, Florida. We're going to have a camera on you at all times.
Yes.
That's going to
be the behind the scenes clip.
I love
that's
it.
Behind
Following
the
you
scenes.
around.
Yeah.
POV. I love it. I would love to hear. I would love to hear how you got involved with the PFL and how your career got started.
It's so funny. I've been getting asked that a lot for obvious reasons, being, them 7 months in. And the answer is always like, I have no fucking clue. It's so funny. I can honestly say I never had the dream of working in MMA, let alone combat sports or anything like that. I, wanted to work in football, but my first job out of college, I was working for this small sports digital media startup where we did content creation for different clients. And my first client was WSOF, World Series of Fighting. So, just graduating from college, knowing nothing about MMA, I'm getting shipped to Vegas to go to these WSOF fights, sit cage side next to Ray Sefo. And this is like the start of social media. And I got my phone and I'm interviewing Justin Gaethje and Nick Newell and David Branch. And
wow,
I had no idea who they were.
That's crazy.
I didn't know.
That's awesome.
And because of that, every job I had afterwards, if there was any interest or we had any stake in whether it be boxing or MMA, it was always like, well, Karisa has MMA experience. She's got boxing experience. She could do it. And then next thing you know, I'm working for Sporting News covering boxing for nearly 7 years. And then PFL reaches out to me and they're like, as an MMA reporter, you'd be great. I'm like, I don't know how this happened, but okay.
Here we
and
are.
I'm doing it. It's so much fun.
I love that story because people don't understand. And like, we have these talks all the time, us three in the Fight Bananas land. Like people think people are successful and it just happens overnight. It's not. Like, I would love to, like, during that 7-year run, Karisa, have you thought a million times like me, or maybe like all of us up here, like, all right, I'm done. Like, I'm not going to do it anymore. Like, my friends have 9 to 4 jobs and they have every weekend off and all this stuff. And it's like me, I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, and then I was just in Nashville. We're going to Hollywood. I got Vegas all set up. Like, it's just, we're road travelers. And it's like, during that 7 years, did you think multiple times, like, that's it, I'm done, I'm not doing it no more?
Yeah, it's really funny because last year things had kind of slowed down as far as with sporting news, what we were covering, the amount of fights I was traveling to. So I kind of felt like I was in this place of complacency where I wasn't really challenging myself anymore. I didn't really feel rewarded, but I was also planning a wedding. So it was okay, because that kind of became my full-time job at that. So I was like, this is fine. It's a great time to kind of step back and after the wedding, and when I've got, nothing to stress out about, maybe I'll do a career change. Maybe I'll enjoy a desk job. And then PFL reached out to me and it was the exact opposite where they hired me. And 3 weeks later, I was in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
So
It's wild. That's wild.
Yeah. Like it happened so quick, but I think it's so good because it reminded me why I love doing what I do. Cause I stopped loving it for a while. It was hard. I mean, the last interview I had done before joining PFL was with Colby Covington, who's not an easy interview. He's a lot. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm torturing myself. And I was really skeptical for that reason to join the PFL because I didn't know much about the fighters. I didn't know how it was going to be. But sometimes I'm in the position now where I have to remind myself that this is a job and it's not just me having fun, because I am having so much fun. I'm getting to travel. It is hard being away from my husband and my dogs and, my house, but living out of a suitcase, getting to go see all these different cities, spend time with some truly incredible fighters in their corners. It's been a weird dream come true that I didn't know I had.
That's really cool. That's a really cool story. And now you can say well, if I dealt with Colby Covington, I can deal with anybody.
Yeah,
exactly.
Colby Covington, radars, different radiuses.
Totally.
Talk about it. Unreal. Like, he's unreal. How
Too
nice.
Too nice.
The nicest man ever. Like, I think I'm okay. And I'm nothing to Ipa Kasagan. I can't even, nothing.
And
guys, we have our next guest.
That way too. They're all like his mom and dad. Every time they see me, they come up, give me a hug, ask about my family.
Who are you?
I feel like he and Josh are fighting for the title of the nicest fighter.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yes,
great.
Girl, Elle, Matt, do you have anything else for Karisa? If not, I know we have Gage coming on here next. He's in the green room.
I mean, I could
Karisa,
ask
we would
you
love
to
have you back on again and again and again. More time and more stories, maybe after Hollywood, but I'd love to have you on. But Elle, Maddie, anything else?
Like I said, I could ask you 1,000,001 questions, but I will let you go and live your life. But thank you so much for joining the podcast, and we hope to have you back soon.
Absolutely. Anytime. And I will see you guys next week in Hollywood.
Awesome.
Yes, definitely.
Later, Kristen. Thank you so much.
Guys, bye.
There we go. What a star, dude. She's awesome.
Yeah.
Love her.
She's doing